happy 220th day of 2024. It's August 7th, and I've got a weather update for you. Starting off over here, talking about what's left of Debby, not really moving much, and we knew this was going to happen, okay? We've been talking about this for a long time. Debby is stalling out off the coast of South Carolina, dumping tons of moisture onto South Carolina and North Carolina. We've had a lot of problems over here with flooding already, and it's not really going to move much today. It'll start moving a little bit tomorrow, and eventually it's going to start rocketing off to the north and east. But right now, this is what we're dealing with. So if you live in a flood-prone area over here, obviously, we've got to have you on high alert if you aren't already. And like I was saying, not going to move much today. In fact, from 8 a.m. today until 2 a.m. Thursday, it's going to move a couple miles, okay? However, from 2 a.m. Thursday to 2 p.m. on Thursday, I do think that this is going to move a little bit farther to the north. We might actually see this move into North Carolina on Friday. It'll be up there near Washington, D.C. during the afternoon on Friday. Saturday, it's in New York. Sunday, it's plumb out up in Nova Scotia, way up there towards Greenland as we go into early next week. We're not going to be thinking about it much after that. In the meantime, we're still going to experience tropical storm force winds. This is still Tropical Storm Debby in the Myrtle Beach area up into the Outer Banks area, at least for the next 12 to 24 hours. And the big thing that we have to watch out for here is the rainfall. Right now, we already have tons of flood watches and flash flood warnings and flood warnings in effect, especially in South Carolina. I expect this map to light up even more today and especially tomorrow with some really significant flooding that's going to be happening here in South Carolina and North Carolina. If you haven't seen it yet, it's still coming. I don't want anybody to let their guard down. I feel like there's a little bit of a lull right now. We're not seeing as heavy rain right now as we did yesterday. If you're not seeing the heavy rain right now, don't let your guard down. It's coming back, I promise. This is what the radar could look like over the next little bit. Okay, this is starting off around 4 p.m. Eastern today. We're going to see some scattered heavy rain showers in South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, moving up into Virginia as well, into the Delmarva area, maybe all the way up there towards New York City and Cape Cod. You're going to get in on a rumble of thunder and some heavier rain. Nothing like what we saw yesterday up there, but it's happening. Okay, we're going to see the rain. But I do think that things are going to get a little bit more intense as we head into the overnight period tonight and into the day tomorrow. Also, take a look up here in the plains, all right? We're going to have some stronger storms in places like Kansas, Nebraska, and Iowa this evening into the early morning hours tomorrow. And this is when some of those rain bands are going to get really strong here, maybe around Raleigh, okay, back towards Columbia, South Carolina, up into southern and southeastern portions of Virginia. Flash flooding is going to be happening here, and it's just going to get even more intense as we head into the day tomorrow. Thursday by noon, for example, we're going to be back in this, situation where we have an area of thunderstorms that's going to be actually coming onto shore, especially in North Carolina, and these trending thunderstorms are going to drop several inches of rain in a very short period of time. And for this reason, we continue to have unprecedented outlooks from the Weather Prediction Center in terms of excessive rainfall. We've had like 3 or 4 days straight of high risks for rainfall, which I don't think has happened before. It continues today. We've got a high risk of excessive rainfall in southern North Carolina and eastern portions of South Carolina, that pink area. This is where we expect potentially deadly, maybe catastrophic flooding, all right? And like I said, it's going to get worse tomorrow before it gets better. A much larger area is included in that high risk of excessive rainfall. We're talking about flooding of the likes we have not seen in decades in some of these places that are going to get maybe 10, 15 inches of rain in a very short period of time. Raleigh, maybe even all the way back there towards Charlotte. You guys might have to deal with some of the heavier rain as well, including you guys up there in Richmond. A little bit less that far north, but still an area I would be watching those creeks and streams like a hawk tomorrow. Excessive rain is expected even as far out as on the day 3 outlook, a little bit farther north, the Appalachian Mountains, from the panhandles of West Virginia and Maryland up through Pennsylvania, upstate New York, Vermont, moderate risk. I wouldn't be surprised to see some pretty significant flooding, especially in the more hilly and mountainous areas, because we're going to see a lot of runoff associated with this storm, and that's going to allow those creeks and streams and rivers to fill up very quickly. Total rainfall expected over the next week, still looking at, once again, some places seeing over 15 inches of additional rain on top of what you've already gotten, especially in North Carolina. Some heavier totals also in Virginia, portions of West Virginia, Maryland, Pennsylvania, New York, up there into Canada as well. If you live anywhere that is in the yellow or the brown colors especially, this is going to be a crazy event for you, so make sure you're paying attention attention, especially if you live in a flood-prone area. Severe weather is a little bit calmer as far as, what we have been looking at. We've got no slight risk today, although we do have a very marginal risk of tornadoes and hail, especially in North Carolina along the coast. We've got a little bit of a tornado threat. Hail and wind is a little bit more of a problem back here in Nebraska and Colorado with some of those storms that we were talking about on the simulated radar. A severe weather threat increases tomorrow, especially on the tornado end, as more convective thunderstorms actually are going to be moving up into the eastern areas of North Carolina and Virginia. That's going to bring a lot of rainfall, but it's also going to bring the ability for some tropical tornadoes. So we're going to be watching this very closely. If you live in the yellow tomorrow, you got to be looking out for flash flooding and also severe storms capable of producing tornadoes. We've saw a bunch of tornadoes with this storm already. There's going to be a couple more tomorrow. And then day 3, it's a similar story for, the I-95 corridor up here. Not sure if it's going to be quite as robust, but still marginal risk of severe weather from Maryland up through New Jersey and up into New York City. So we'll be keeping an eye on you guys as well. All right, so let's look even farther into the future. Debby is going to start moving pretty quickly here on Thursday into Friday. Even though it's going to be moving very quickly, it's still going to drop a ton of rain on Pennsylvania and New York. You guys get ready for that. And then the big thing the rest of us are going to notice here is the cool air that settles in behind Debby. Debby's going to swirl in a cooler and drier air mass into the northern areas of the United States, over into the Great Lakes, the Ohio Valley. This boundary is going to allow for more storms to kind of pop up over here in Kansas and Oklahoma. Some of these could be severe. We're watching that, but we're back in this pattern where we're quite warm in the west and we're a little bit cooler than average in the east. Not a lot of relief for the south and the southeast, unfortunately. As far as temperatures go, it's going to remain pretty hot down here for a little while, but it is going to be a little bit less intense than what we have been seeing as we go towards the end of this week into the weekend. The good news for a lot of you guys is because the boundary is setting up a little bit farther south, these thunderstorms are also going to make it a little bit farther south, which will intermittently cool things off and bring some much needed rainfall to some areas that need it. And then if I pull this really all the way out to Friday, August 16th, we're still in that pattern. We've got a wave like this, cooler over here, warmer over here, thunderstorms in the middle. So I would say that we're going to see some rainfall in this area over the next week or so, some isolated incidents of severe weather, but for the most part, things are going to be quite calm. Of course, there's more tropical systems that we have to watch. This is showing up on the Euro. It's not really showing up on anything else, but I think that once we get into the latter half of August, we're going to continue to see this mostly quiet. Don't get me wrong. There's going to be severe weather. It's summertime. It happens, but we're going to see this mostly quiet pattern here in the States, but the tropics are really going to light up in late August. I think our hyperactive season is going to start to show its face a little bit more in late August, and that'll be the main focus here, unfortunately. Climate Prediction Center, 6 to 10 day temperature probability outlook is looking pretty familiar. We've got the warmer temperatures expected over here, quite a bit warmer than average, especially in Texas, unfortunately. And then we're going to be quite cool in the northeast, back into the mid-Atlantic regions, partly because of the cloud cover and rain associated with Debby, but also simply just because of the troughing and the cool air that's coming down from Canada that's going to be kind of chilling things out a little bit for us. And once again, anybody in between those air masses, especially closer to the warmer side, is going to be in an area where I think that we see recurring thunderstorms, those slight risks of severe weather and those random flash flood days. This is the area where I think that we'll have to be watching out for that kind of thing, which is a little bit further south than what it has been over the past couple of weeks. And that's all the weather talk I have for you today. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll have another update for you very soon. I don't think we have any live streams planned in the near future, but oh my gosh, I can't wait. I cannot wait until the next time we go live. We've been working so hard here on our live streaming capabilities. It seems like we haven't been going live as much. We're working on it. Okay, I'm thinking long term here. I want to do this forever. I think what we're working on right now is going to get us by for the next 10 years. We've had to really pull back our resources and focus on, updating things and getting things ready. Oh my gosh, we've just got a lot of really cool stuff that's going to help a lot of people in the pipeline. Unfortunately, the next time we go live, it's probably going to be for some bad event. That's not great, obviously, but I think that we're going to be able to really be there and, help in a way that even before we weren't able to. So I'm excited for that. If you're a member of the channel, we're probably going to do some members only live streams here soon, testing some of this new stuff out. So look forward to that. All right. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye. Ooh.